I used to look in all of the Muslim recipes that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad approved. And I used to notice how almost everything that wasn't sweet had onion, green pepper, and celery. I mean, meat, vegetables, don't care what it was. And when I became the unofficial nutritionist of the nation, I studied why everything that he told us to eat and everything he told us not to eat. I went into deep research on it. Now, your central nervous system, your brain, your spinal cord, and everything, all your nerves are surrounded by a fluid. And the nervous system gets its nutrition from that fluid. Whatever's in that fluid, that's what it soaks up. Now, the number one thing that your nerves need is manganese. That's what feeds the nerves. That's why when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad would feel tension coming on, he would get raw spring onions and just eat them. And it would ease it, because onions are very high, celery is very high. The highest of all is okra. I used to see him just take a pot of okra, just eat it, right out the pot. He wasn't eating it, he liked it, but that wasn't the only reason he was eating it. He was eating it because he felt some tension coming on. He wanted something to refurbish his nerves. So he'd eat some okra, kept onion and celery in everything. And as long as you ate like that, it nourished your central nervous system, made your mind work better, okay? Kept you from being so testy, so hard to get along with. That's just one example, but I'm saying everything that we eat, we should have a purpose for eating it, otherwise ain't no sense in eating it, okay? For one thing right now, stop throwing away all of the newspapers as fast as you read them. You need to store up newspapers for various reasons. I mean, they will come in handy for all sorts of things in a situation, like things that you couldn't even dream of now. You'll be glad you had the newspaper, okay? One of the things, to chink up all the cracks around your door so won't no smells get out. That's right. I'm dead serious. You close them bad boys up, not to keep anything from coming in, but to keep them odors from going out. Okay? Then at least you won't be tempting nobody. The other thing is they've got small, inexpensive microwave ovens on sale at this time. Might be good to get one. You may not like it, may not want to use it as a regular thing, but we're talking about survival now. It ain't the best thing in the world to cook in, but we're talking about keeping alive. Okay? Might be good to have one of those. Okay, you may say, as a brother mentioned about the battery radios, always keep battery radios anytime, even now, because you may have a power outage and don't know where it's coming from, and you need to know. Keep you some batteries. Keep you some good fresh batteries. Don't buy the El Cheapos. Get you some Duracell. Tell you, use what the professionals in the photographic field, in the video field, in every field, electronic field, they use Duracell. Now, Kodak claim they're going to come up with something better. When they do, fine. Right now, Duracell's the best. Okay? So keep you some Duracells on hand. Keep your battery radio. Now, that's something that's very valuable in a case like this. You can buy the stuff that's already put up, and you should buy, you know, some of it. But as much as possible, you need to do it yourself. Because many times there are chemicals in there that, especially once, see, the less your body is taking in, the more sensitive it is to what it takes in. Now, you may now be able to stand a lot of additives and preservatives and everything, you know, because you got a lot of stuff in you to fight it with. But when you get down to, you know, it becomes a larger percentage of that which you're eating, it becomes more dangerous. So you need to control what's going to be going in your stomach at that time. The best way to control it is to prepare it yourself. Now, one word of caution that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us, bean soup, of course, is good to can. You can bean soup, you actually do, and all of your vegetables. But, and you heard me mention about putting onions and celery and stuff in vegetables and stuff like that. When you're canning, you do not put that in until you're ready to eat it, if you have it available. Your bean soup, your vegetables will spoil a lot quicker, especially if you have onions in them. So you definitely don't put onions in anything that you're canning. you wait until you're ready to eat it. Now, the other thing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said on bean soup, particularly, there's so many ways. See, whatever's the best for you is also, as he said once about his great helper Malcolm, anything, whoever can help you the most can hurt you the most. Okay? Milk is supposed to be the closest to a perfect food. In every laboratory, chemical laboratory, milk is the #1 culture that they grow bacteria in, because it grows it faster than anything else. Well, it's the same way. Bean soup is the most nutritious thing that we have on our menu, therefore it also can become the most dangerous. He said that when you get canned bean soup, when you take it out and put it in the pot, boil it for at least 30 minutes before you eat it. Don't just heat it up and eat it. When it has been canned, he said all of your food, you should do it at least about 20 minutes. But bean soup particularly, you must boil it at least a half hour after you take it out of the jar before you eat it. Because no matter how carefully you can it, there is some bacteria and some air in there, and it will set up botulism. So to be perfectly safe, be sure and boil it to kill that little bit of residue which is left. Okay? Now, as we go on, as I say, this is an ongoing thing. So as you go on, you know, you'll have questions and we'll come up with more stuff that you should be putting away, should be storing away, you know, should be making sure that you have an ample supply. Storage. Let's get on that a little bit. First of all, we need to store that which has maximum nutrition and takes up minimum space. We also need to get that which has the longest, those things which have the longest shelf life. So dried things, two of the main staples, of course, is the navy bean and brown rice. Now there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that combination. Navy beans have as much protein in them as any meat that you ever ate. But the body has a problem assimilating the amino acids or proteins that's in the bean unless there is a grain present. And the eating of the grain, you can either eat the whole wheat bread, you can eat the rice, or some grain, that trips the amino acids over so that they are easily taken in by your digestive system. That's the reason. That's the reason. Now, you know, it's an old tradition. You find a lot of our folks in South Carolina, red beans and rice. Understand? Down a little further south, black-eyed peas and rice. They always ate beans and rice. You know, meat was scarce. They were poor. And, you know, they didn't, see, after generations, our folks did things and didn't know why they did it. Don't know why they just know it was a tradition. Mama, grandma taught mama, and mama taught me, and I'm teaching you. You go ahead and eat it, boy. Pow, go on and eat it. If you're tired of it, eat it. They couldn't explain it, but it was good. Okay? So those are two things that you should get airtight. What do I say airtight? I don't mean vacuum packed. Something that you can keep the air out, keep the bugs out mainly. Keep the moisture out. Containers. And put away plenty of beans and plenty of rice. Now, naturally, you should also store some stuff that does not require cooking. Okay? But you shouldn't, that's another thing you need to practice too, is try every now and then eating a meal that's not cooked. Raw vegetables. Okay? So, because otherwise, let me tell you, if you're not used to eating it raw and something happens that you don't have any way to cook and all you got is raw stuff, it gets old. It gets mighty old to you. I mean, you'd almost rather starve unless you've gotten kind of accustomed to it. So every now and then, once or twice a week or so, you know, deal with salads and raw vegetables and stuff like that, you know, to just get yourself ready.